if you look at what goes into the cars, you're not paying for the brand, you're paying for the product, and you as a customer, you are helping us build that brand. So there's other cars on the market with, I would say, less engineering going into them, and a lot lower, attention to detail, which is significantly higher priced. So as weird as it sounds, it has really good bang for the buck, although it's a $3 million car.
It makes sense.
I feel it's really good value.
You're listening to My Supercar World, a Post Oak Motor Cars production from Houston, Texas.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of My Supercar World. I'm Diane Kaplan.
And I'm Lonnie Souza. Welcome, everyone.
So, hot off of the Goodwood Festival of Speed, we are excited today because we have the chairman of the board and the chief commercial officer, Jens Sverdrup from Zenvo Automotive. I know I butchered your last name. I'm trying very hard, Jens, to get better at it.
It's okay. Everybody does. Not easy. Thank you.
Well, Jens, welcome to our show. And I'm going to tell you right now, because of how important of a guest that you are. Normally, we just kind of free flow this whole deal, and because of how important it is, that I want the audience to kind of capture your entire journey. I'm going to often refer to pre-written questions here, just because I don't want to miss the opportunity to kind of catch your background, if you don't mind. So that's going to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sure. All right. So, tell us a little bit about your story. I mean, where did you start into the automotive industry to begin with, and then we'll kind of progress from there.
Yeah, I mean, how much time do we have?
As much as you want. As much as you want. But what pulled you into the automotive world?
It's long, but so I actually studied music and art history and things like that. But I guess I remember the moment I told my teacher I wanted to. I had like top three. What do you want to do when you grow up? And I must have been 11 or 12. I think I had professional cyclist, a professional musician / rock star, which was a big deal in the 80s. Or I wanted to work with supercars, and basically all three choices got ridiculed. So I sort of remember it really well. And it was like, yeah, no, that won't happen. You'll take over your, family business, and that's the end of that. We all know that's what you're gonna do. So I don't know. I think something happened in me when my whole class was in front of me laughing, and I sort of like, yeah, I'm gonna show them, sort of. So of course, yeah, I studied music. I did music. I didn't become a professional cyclist. I'm still trying. But it's my chances are dwindling, as they say. But cars sort of started out as like, it was a passion of mine since I was 4 years old. Since my mother gave me like a scale model car of a Maserati Bora. It was silver with a chrome roof, and I must have been 4 years old. And to me, that was like a UFO. So I guess so it sort of triggered, from that, and also growing up in Norway. I'm Norwegian. We had this stock puppet movie called Flåklypa Grand Prix, which actually you will also see Christian von Koenigsegg was inspired by that as a child, and that was like a Le Mans type, underdog story with a bunch of Group C racing cars mixed in with God knows a lot of weird Norwegian creatures and anyway, so like a Le Mans type race, and that sort of, I think, set off like a car interest for all of us kids in the 70s in Norway, let's say Sweden. So I guess that's where it started. And now, while I was studying, I was sort of dabbling with cars, buying and selling, restoring. So it would have been like classic Alfa Romeos. Eventually it would lead to Ferraris. So I sort of, and then eventually would lead to Lamborghinis, other things like that, but mainly classics. And then I guess at some stage in my music career, between doing music I didn't like and doing gigs I didn't particularly enjoy in front of drunken people, and and these kind of things. After having spent all these years on rehearsing my instrument and going to grades, I sort of just decided I wanted to sort of work with my other passion, which was always cars, and I wanted to do it sort of full time and keep music as a side gig, I guess. So from there on in, I sort of started full time working then with setting up, Alfa Romeo, only classic cars still, Ferrari, which was always my favorite brand as a child, I guess. And classic Italian cars, and then that led to race cars, and yeah, that led to restoration shops, all these things. And then, fast forward to, I believe, 2005 or something, where I got the opportunity. I wanted to test working with newer cars. I had this childhood dream of working with Ferrari on some sort of official level. And so I got an offer to actually run dealerships in Sweden for Ferrari dealership, basically. So I sort of jumped ship, moved over to Sweden, and it was sort of then I felt in the official Ferrari system. And we also took on Pagani very early on. So it must have been 2004 or 5. So when Pagani was still a tiny little company, it must have been 15 people, I think. Very, very small. It was just Swaraccio and his kids were still small, but just a really tiny team, and that really sort of triggered something in me. I really loved that sort of handmade thing. So and then we became also a Lamborghini dealer, and then eventually I started. I'm just fast forwarding a lot here because a lot has happened during these years. But I was a GM for a Lamborghini for the Nordic countries as well. So we distributed Lamborghini for all these countries. And then that sort of led to, at the same time, I also had an event company. I did driving instruction at the Nürburgring Spa. We did like drive events, alpine events, track days, stuff like that. So I was sort of getting more and more connected in the industry. I did some racing. And I remember getting the question from actually an investor of Koenigsegg, who was Norwegian, who sort of was a customer of ours, and he sort of said, "Okay, you should go meet the Koenigsegg guys." And to be honest, I was so ingrained in this Pagani things. I sort of, I don't know. I'm sort of more a Pagani guy than a Koenigsegg guy, so I'm not sure. But anyway, I went to meet Christian. It took me 2 seconds to understand. Okay, this guy is pretty special. so, so, uh, I started there with basically. It was really bad times. It was just after the financial crisis, and I remember Christian said, do whatever you want, more or less. You can't be worse than what it is today. So I got free hands for quite a long time to do whatever I wanted with sales and marketing, and sort of, start to get the brand built up and understood, and sort of recover from financial crisis and these things. So I did that until 2015, and which led up to the brand's big breakthrough. Basically, 2015 was like Koenigsegg, I would say, big breakthrough where we sold. We must have sold like 30, 40 Regeras in one day, and that was not normal for us. From the Geneva show, we were used to battling with getting one sale, right? So it really sort of broke through, especially in the US. I would say that's when the US market really got their eyes up for Koenigsegg. So that was a fantastic journey. Learned a lot, struggled a lot, was some tough years. Small company, wearing many hats, getting to work very closely with Christian, of course, which was great. He's really some man I have a lot of love and respect for still. So that was awesome. Then I had a stint with Rimac, which I think you're a Rimac dealer, right?
We were.
We were.
Okay, we were. So you can blame me for that, maybe. But I had a few years doing the commercial setup for them, and then I went to. I'm skipping a few consultancy deals here, but I'm just taking the highlights. And then I went to Zinger over in Los Angeles, which was a very attractive thing for me. Because I really loved their technology, and I had already started to speak with them in 16, 17, because I knew, there was something in the works. And this is Zinger, as in the ZZ Zingers,
Right.
basically, with the 2021C. So again, I got blown away by Kevin Zinger, the founder. He's,
They're amazing. Yeah.
still to this day the smartest guy I've ever met, and again, have so much respect for him and what he's achieved, and how that brand. Yeah, we founded the brand in 2020. We were 3 people basically, and then the mother company Divergent, which of course had already a lot of engineers in, but but and right now they're delivering cars, which is amazing.
Right.
So yes, I set that brand up, and we did a launch in the middle of COVID. Everything was complete and utter chaos. So I left sometime during that period, because the commuting between Europe and America, and it got really tricky with the travel bans and everything. And of course I got this call from a person which you will have met, Diane, and that's Christian Brandt, who's the head of design at Zenvo, who knew me, and of course, would you be interested in discussing, doing something with us? I think we're looking at doing a brand new car from scratch, and setting up a team, and really this is our last chance. We really want to break through properly, and we really want to make like an all new car. So of course that was very tempting for me to be able to sort of, for the first time, taking all the lessons learned from all other car projects I've been in, and maybe the things I learned, the mistakes I learned from the other companies and projects I've been in, to sort of make what I feel is the ultimate, supercar, and also to be able to build like the ultimate team with every person I've really gelled with through all these years, in automotive, whether that's designers or engineers or whatever they are, or salespeople for that matter. So that was an opportunity too good to miss, and I think it's every boy's dream to sort of be able to have a vision and see a real car come to life. So that's what that's what's lead us up to today. Then very, very. I mean, I know it's a long story already, but there's a lot more in there. But this is sort of the highlights, basically, the sort of more well known projects. So that leads us till today, where we are literally, we've done a car for the last 5 years. It's the most blank sheet of paper supercar in the history of supercar. We ended with, which I have to pinch my arm every day I wake up that I'm allowed to do that. And we're here, I would say, at the verge of a major breakthrough as a brand. We're already selling well, but I think we're at the verge of something much bigger, to where Zenvo will be considered one of definitely one of the world's top 5, super hypercar players within 3 years, I feel. So,
no, for sure. I agree.
So,
I mean, I was
very fast, fast track.
I was telling Lonnie at Goodwood, there was definitely the buzz. The buzz was Zenvo during Goodwood. I mean, and tell me, like, we just got finished. We just got back from Goodwood. I mean, and congratulations, because that was amazing hill climb, and it was an amazing accomplishment for the team. Like, what did that mean to the team? That whole.
I mean, I have to, of course, it's the most natural thing in the world to have a car that actually works, But so from the outside, maybe it doesn't look like it's such a big deal, but you have to remember, a few years ago we started, as I said, with a blank sheet of paper. We've done absolutely everything down to the minuscule nuts and bolts in the car. So it's absolutely everything: engine, gearbox, HMI system, wiring harnesses, nuts, bolts, whatever goes into a car. It's either done by us or done for us. Right? So it's a big thing to get this thing finally started and moving, and there's been a lot of frustration behind it. We've had to find, of course, an obscene amount of money, and then we've had to find customers who wants it, and then it's to find the world's best engineers to actually get this vision out in real life. It's so of course, I'd say only over the last 3 months. I don't think anyone has worked any less than 7 days a week. I don't think anyone has done less than 14-hour days, right? So some people have gone 2-3 days in a row with maybe a little nap in between. So the work effort that's gone into this is just immense, right? And so of course, that moment where the car gets lowered to the ground for the first time and starts, admittedly a little bit late, but anyway, we made it before Goodwood. It was really emotional to be able. We only got 1.5 hours of testing, before before we went to
Right.
Goodwood, which is super
Wow.
obviously as a brand
No
very
stress.
risky. Uh, I feel like this is us. We want to be open and transparent. We want to invite everyone to come along on our journey. What's no? So if that means things aren't always perfect, that's okay. I think the ones who need to understand what goes into this, they do understand. So of course, yeah, we came to Goodwood. I also hadn't slept for a few weeks, and as you probably noticed, and
Stop.
and and of course, that first run up the hill and a car that moves, admit, yeah, it didn't go fast. It had 600 horsepower. We were really, really careful with it, but still to make it up there, just based on the promise I made to the Duke of Richmond basically last year, which I don't think he believed, but I said we'll be back next year with a running car, and he said, yeah, sure. Good luck, but we did, and that was sort of important to keep a promise that we made to him, to customers, to dealers like you. We've always said that. So yeah, so it was super emotional, and I think you were there at Goodwood and saw the on Sunday when we did our last run, and yeah, quite a few cars actually didn't make it. But
Yeah.
anyway, we were still running. The car is reliable, and that was really emotional. Everybody was hugging and drinking champagne and yeah. So for us, it's a big deal, and it's why we do what we do. It's it's not the lifestyle. It's not the yeah. It's the privilege it is to be able to create something that you've been dreaming about since you were 3 years old, literally. And I think all of us, in the Zenvo team, we share that sort of passion. If you can ask anyone, why are you here? Well, I had this dream when I was 3 or 4 or 5, right? That's everyone's base story. And of course, whenever you achieve something and see it moving, see it alive, and have customers appreciate it, and even better, even putting down orders, it's fantastic. It's a real privilege. So yeah, it's emotional, I guess, in short.
Wow. Well, congratulations for that major milestone and accomplishment, and we're so looking forward to seeing what's next, right, for Zenvo. But I do have to take a slight detour, and I'll come
Yeah,
back to
sure.
asking questions. What instrument did you play?
Well, yeah, so I'm majoring guitar basically.
Guitar.
Yeah.
And did you
So
sing? Were you
come
also a
again.
singer? Were you also a singer,
Not a
vocalist?
particularly good one. It depends on the hour of the day.
You have to share a picture of
No,
us on
Yeah.
stage, a picture for us on stage. so, so what are the expectations? So, first of all, Zenvo, where did the name come from? How were you inspired by the name?
yeah, so this name actually comes from basically there's two founders of the company. It's so this is a mix between their two last names. It's one founder's last name is Wollertsen, and the other last name is Jensen, which is very similar to my first name. But yeah, so it's basically a mix between Vo and Sen, and then turn it around. So they founded the company in 2007 already. Two friends, and yeah, many years later, they're out of the company, although still good friends. But the name remains, and I think the sort of base ethos of what the car should be, I've definitely tried to be very true to. So in terms of it's a driver's car. It's not a numbers car, and that's really important. It's so easy to get lost in the numbers when we have such impressive numbers as we have. But first and foremost, it is definitely it's a visceral, intimate driver's car, and that's what it's been since the very first day, basically. So that's true to the founder's original vision.
Wow. So you were mentioning what you've been telling us so far is it sounds like it is a major accomplishment to be able to produce a vehicle like you have right now. And
Yeah.
it sounds like such a short period of time. What would the if someone were to have an idea and say, I've got all the money in the world and I want to bring a car to market, what does that typically look like? What is the time frame expectation typically look like? And that way we can know how much you've actually accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you can look at, well, there are companies with all the money in the world, Mercedes, or you could argue, Aston or Volkswagen with Bugatti. I mean, so what we've done is, okay, we launched the car in 2023, basically. The engineering, sure, the design started a little bit earlier, so you could argue it's taken us 5 years to get here. But we've definitely in that time we've also been raising capital and these things, right? So we could probably do it in 3-4 years. But if you look at the big OEMs, they're 6, 7, 8 years with all the resources in the world, with engineering team of whatever 500,000 people, and so so it is a big achievement. Very often they will have powertrains, there or platforms from before of all these things. We've done everything from scratch. So yes, I hope that goes into explaining, even if we say 5 years is a really, really short amount of time, although it's a
Right.
long time in life maybe. But yeah, so I think with all the money in the world, and the best team in the world and a clear vision and all these things, I mean, maybe you could do it in 4. Like, so we maybe spent a year extra because we had to find some money along the way, and also just finding the talent. It's
It's
and
hard.
convincing them that this is worth coming on board for, and sort of they have to buy into the vision and all these things. And you really need to do what we do. It's sort of more in common with Lockheed Martin Skunk Works back in the 50s and 60s, right?
Right.
So it's like small, super agile, super versatile, geniuses that can do where every person needs to be able to do 3 things at a world-leading level, right? So that takes time to build. So we actually, yeah, we started from scratch, and that included the team to do it more or less.
Wow.
We've sort of been able to build everything simultaneously. So for me, having spent all this time in industry, this is seriously impressive, at the level we're at, for sure.
No, for sure. So I know that now Goodwood's behind you. So
Yeah.
next we've got Monterey Car Week. So what's in store for Zenvo for that? Can you share
Well,
anything?
yeah. Not all the plans are 100% clear. That's why I'm laughing. But yeah, we'll have the event situation cleared up basically next week. So then we'll publish which events we'll be attending. Of course, we have a huge effort going into our own house
Yeah.
or villa. We're looking into taking sort of a next step into focusing more on the customer rather than maybe doing all the events,
Right.
so because they're getting a little bit expensive, and I feel like we really want to give the customer a best possible experience rather than paying an event organizer maybe. So we're definitely looking at doing something that hasn't been done before, which I can tell you next week, hopefully. I think you know some of it, but
Yes.
basically entertain in a way that hasn't been done before during Car Week, and giving customers like a wholesome interesting experience, and we just want to hang out with our customers and get to know them, really. So we want to spend this quality time, and so that's sort of what we're putting all our emphasis on. We don't need to create new leads all the time. We
Right.
just want to get to know our customers and spend quality time with them. So that's sort of will explain why we're doing what we're doing. But I think next week, as I said, we'll publish the events we're going to. So you'll see very soon.
Good. Well, you answered part of my next question in that what is Zenvo doing differently that what you feel your competitors are doing to enter the market? And I heard ownership experience is one of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we're very customer biased, and that was one of the lessons learned from all of my project. Is like it's not my yeah. Nobody's pleasing my ego or anyone's. It has to be grounded in a customer's need. Our innovation, we're super innovative, of course. Scandinavian countries are very often innovative, but it's always towards a customer-based solution, basically. It's something that benefits the customer as opposed to, for example, me wanting to see something come alive. So I would say the way we started the whole design of the car without having any performance numbers in mind, that's different. So the whole ethos is just to find the sweet spot or the equilibrium of extremes, which I always talk about. It's the ultimate, balance of performance. So we never set out, like many brands do, that they set out, I'm going to have 1,000 horsepower. It's going to have 0 to 60 in this number, this. We approached it totally differently. We knew, the design we were going for and the solutions, using negative space, a modular platform. But the rest is more like, let's see how far we can push every parameter that goes into, hypercar until you start to get negative trade-offs, and then let's make the performance numbers just be a side effect of having really good engineering. So I think that's very different. Was deeply rooted in customer feedback for sure. So I'd say that's really different, shockingly, because everybody should listen to their customers. I think
right.
you who are like daily customer facing, that. I don't think all the car brands necessarily are super connected with their customers, but we certainly strive to be and try to be. So I think that's something we're doing different. And whatever we're doing, we're constantly just trying to benefit the customers because they are our investors, and they've helped us get this far, and without them, we'd be screwed basically. So rather
Right.
than
Fair.
so if we're gonna spend money on anything, I have no issues spending money on a good customer experience, but I really want it to be our customers in a way. So there's certain events now that are getting so expensive where you're just paying a lot of money, to give many others a good experience, maybe, and maybe also you're doing it for PR and media. But I definitely, yeah, my focus is on the customer, and that's the best investment I can ever do. So within our abilities and obviously budgets. So that I feel is definitely, a different approach for sure. So very customer driven.
I think we can definitely relate to that because in our world as retailers, right? When I can
Yeah,
think 8 years ago, we were doing every sponsorship, every event, putting our names across the screens of galas and
yeah,
golf tournaments, and you're catering to a much broader crowd, but
yeah,
not identifying who your audience really is. And in
yeah,
today's world, we're very intimate, very
yeah,
purposeful, very
yeah,
small. It is no longer. It's not a billboard type of approach. It is just catering to a very small group of clients
Yeah.
where it's personal interaction, one-on-one feedback, experiential. Doesn't matter
yeah.
how much money you have. We're gonna
Correct.
put
Yeah,
together
I
something that
fully agree.
yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah, you definitely, yeah, and we can interact with fans too, as long as they love what we do as
Right.
much as we do.
yeah.
They're good people in my view, and yeah, no, that's interesting. Of course, for a brand like us, brand building is obviously part of it, but I definitely value that, because that will come either way. The customers help us build the brand, right?
Right,
So we
right,
don't need to pay for all of that. Like
Right.
we need to make sure our customers are happy, and also that we are happy with our customers,
yeah,
because it's supposed to be fun for everybody, for
Right.
you guys as a dealer, for the customer, and for us. We have to make sure everyone's enjoying themselves and sort of understands what we're trying to do. So then for me, maybe the great world outside of our intimate sphere, is less important, because it will come, because each and every one of, let's say, these 100 Aurora customers, of course, they're fantastic ambassadors. So yeah, so we're sort of picking them as much as we can, and making sure they're also good ambassadors for our brand, and that they really understand what we're trying to achieve. So and there's not no better way of building a brand than letting it go organically. From it's just nothing makes it as strong as that. So yeah, so there's certain events, right, where you pay, or advertising for that matter, but you're paying, like, let's say you pay $2,000 a minute. At yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff for that. Right. So
right, right.
yeah, which benefits the customers more. And I think I understand you very well, because as a customer, I would sort of look at all these things. If you're a car dealer who does, like, oh, you sponsoring sports teams, this and that, and you would sit there as a customer and you go, yeah, this is cool, but how does it benefit me, right? So this is sort of how I'm thinking. Like, how does this benefit our customer, right? So I think that's, yeah, that's who we are for sure. So. And it
Okay.
sounds it's like who you are as well.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess that's where we're in this together.
Right,
Exactly.
So
right.
yeah,
Well, you
yeah,
gave us a really good transition to the next question. I think Diane's probably better suited to take it, but the Aurora. Let's talk about.
Yeah. So, um, part of the appeal with the Auroras is obviously the exclusivity of them. Like, was there what was the mindset behind the amount that you're producing of each?
well, I mean, it's a brand builder, let's say. This is
Okay.
sort of what we do instead of,
Right.
yeah, doing flashy advertising, maybe. So it's a halo car. uh we're producing less than we can sell. So because I also feel we owe it to our customers, that they make a sound investment, because this is the car that set Zenvo on the map properly, and made us respected as an international hypercar brand. So it's we are also responsible for our customers' money, basically. So yeah, so the idea was to do 50 of each, which is yeah, doesn't sound like a lot, especially considering the investment that goes into it, but there's obviously a bigger story, and this is that we're doing a platform, basically. So the Aurora represents the first car of a future platform, so we can also do other cars in the future, but for sure the V12 Aurora is the halo car.
Right.
And we'll, yeah, I mean, it would be terrible when we start delivering cars, if they start dropping in value. It just means we haven't respected our customers. We haven't listened to our customers, who sort of wants it to be a little bit limited, to make sure their investment is sound. Not necessarily go up in value, but certainly make sure it doesn't depreciate. Something, it has been focused since day one. Um, Having said that, there's also 25 roadsters of each of the Auroras, which of course customers of the coupes will get first right of refusal for. So there's a little bit more cars coming, but it's still very, very low volume.
What is the price point of these vehicles?
Yeah. What is the dollar rate today? So we're at
Yeah.
2.8 million euros net before taxes. So it should be around $3 million, Diane, right?
Yeah, it's about
A
right.
little bit more. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So again, if you look at what goes into the cars, you're not paying for the brand, you're paying for the product, and you as a customer, you are helping us build that brand. So there's other cars on the market with, I would say, less engineering going into them, and a lot lower, attention to detail, which is significantly higher priced. So as weird as it sounds, it has really good bang for the buck, although it's a $3 million
Yeah.
car.
it makes
I
sense.
feel it's really good value.
It makes sense. So, do you expect this initial round of Halo cars? Do you expect the owners to drive them, or
I
simply?
certainly hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing everything we can. I mean, our test program is, closer to a big OEM than it is your typical hypercar brand. We're doing 7 prototypes. We're doing all the, hot weather testing, cold weather testing, track testing, road testing. I mean, they're going through a massive test program. So, I mean, nothing would make me happier than that. I mean, the cars are made to be driven. They're built to do high mileage, especially for a hypercar. So there's nothing, there
They're not,
shouldn't be
yeah, they're
anything
not
wrong with it. But
sensitive.
I know, I mean, each to their own. There will be people who will put it in the collection, and to be honest, if they enjoy them sitting still, I mean, who am I to judge? That's okay too. If it
Yeah.
was to me, I would drive it as much as I could.
But
But yeah, so they're definitely built for it.
that's important to know. I mean, there are
Yeah,
certain hypercars out there that are meant, that won't get more than 40 miles before you have to put tires on them. So that's why I asked
yeah,
that question, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're built or engineered from day one. There's also, lessons learned from other projects,
Hmm.
and also what I've seen from other. I've been in the hypercar industry since its beginning. So cost of service is a huge deal. It has to be easy to service. So early on we decided, okay, we're gonna have to have, a subframe, rear subframe that you can detach and lower the engine in just a couple of hours, so you can service it. So you shave off 2-3 days of servicing time, right? Only on that.
Hmm.
So the price of service, we're really, keeping an eye on that it is like reasonable for this type of car. Again, trying to trying to not go for the crazy bespoke tires, and all these things that really can run prices up. So I'd say it will be reasonable. Shouldn't be so much more than a normal supercar. Um, and of course they are built to be used from day one. They're built to be used in cold weather, hot weather, wet weather, snow. We're doing all this. So, and I think our level of, I would say, engineering, our test program is definitely far beyond our, let's say, our other boutique hypercar brands. I don't want to mention any names, but it's way beyond anything I've had experience with before, let's say. And again, an unreliable car doesn't, it just, you will fall out of love with it pretty quickly. So this is of course important, and it will affect the resale value of the car and all these things. So it's just something we focused on from the get-go, really.
I certainly
Yeah.
think that the owners would appreciate that thoughtfulness going into
No, for sure.
before delivering the brand. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say too, we talked a lot about homologation over the weekend during Goodwood. It was a topic that
Yeah,
a topic
yeah,
that came up often and stuff. And so I know you had mentioned to me that one of the things when building the Aurora, is that something that y'all have always worked making sure that everything passed,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're already like completed 5 of the requirements and stuff. So I know that's always important.
Yeah. Literally from the day the pen got on paper, and we started. It's been built with the rule book in mind, and of course
Yes.
and that goes with the engine and everything. So of course it gives us a much, let's say, better entry point into doing the worldwide homologation than trying to shoehorn something older and or something existing into trying to modify it into passing homologation. So for sure, our entry point into the world of worldwide homologation is let's say easier, just because we started off right, basically,
Right.
with people who had done it before. So that helps. I mean, it's a hideously expensive thing to do. It's the I think it's the second most expensive thing in the whole cost of doing this car is homologation,
Wow.
right? So it's right up there with the powertrain. So
I did not
but
know that.
it needs doing. We're doing also full all U.S. states, and we're also doing carb emissions and and in a way, I think since I sort of have my name all over this car, I would say it also feels good that we haven't cut any corners. We're doing all the crash tests, and so far we've done basically 5 sled tests and simulated tests. That have been passed, with no remarks. So everything's looking good. But yeah, we still have a year left of work to do. So yeah, fingers crossed. But so far, it's looking really good.
That's awesome.
So I would imagine, even in being in the industry, I get a lot of people ask homologation, right? And so
Yeah.
a lot of even again in the industry, people just don't understand what that is. And so that is homologation is basically making sure that the vehicle meets all of the safety standards to be roadworthy for, in particular for us in the United States, which would
Yeah.
include crashing vehicles. How many
Yeah, it
vehicles
does.
do you have to crash
I mean,
for the process?
we're in this lucky situation, I guess, where we have more time than money. So we don't have to totally destroy 30 cars. But I think it's I can't remember. It's around 30 crash tests, let's say.
Wow.
We only destroy 2 cars because we can rebuild them basically.
That's typically what
So
I
the
hear, yeah.
monocoque will survive. But that's still, yeah.
Very expensive.
Right.
There's a lot of carbon basically.
Yeah.
And of course, maybe it's a cracked engine block, who knows, right? But yeah, but that's sort of what's taking more time. Had we been, let's say, Toyota, we would just ship 30 cars and and there you go. But that's of course too expensive.
Right.
So we have to go the sort of a little bit more drawn out route and make sure we rebuild them as fast as we can, to survive another crash test. So,
Yeah.
but it's heart wrenching to see that the fruits, all the love and work that's gone into it, and of course, you just
Gone in a
see it,
second.
being reduced to powder and splinters. It's awful.
Yeah. It's
But
terrible.
yeah, I think personally for me, it feels I wouldn't be able to do it to do this without doing it the right way. I wouldn't be able to. I mean, we're friends with all our customers. Imagine something were to happen and we had cut a corner, and I would have to, look, look this person's family in the eye. Of course, like you have to know you've done everything that,
That you did right.
that you possibly can to make the car as safe as possible, right? And of course, there's also the emission side of things, which is getting really, really complicated, especially with a big V12.
Big, all right.
So, but again, I mean, the planet benefits from it, so I'm not sorry. It makes our kids' world a little bit better. So,
Yeah.
so I still think it's a good thing that we have to do it, but it's really. It's sort of one of these things that is almost impossible, but some people still do it and sort of and pass.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but it's really hard for small brands for sure. And there's so many like loopholes, right? With show on display and all these things. I just don't want to do it anymore, just in case something were to happen to anyone, or I just want to sleep at night knowing that this is as safe as any other, like it's safe as a car can be, and we've done everything by the book, and and it's also for the company's future, of course, and to we do it right. We do have to do everything right, not only the performance things, but also the the boring bits, which is homologation. It just has to be done right.
No,
So,
that's
and I think for you guys, of course, it's you're in the same boat as us. We're running the same. You're also really close to your clients, and
yeah.
yeah, imagine if anything were to happen, then
Well,
someone had cut the corner, you wouldn't be able to live it yourself, right? So
that's right.
so
No,
this is important. Yeah, sorry to get emotional, but this
no,
is for me very important that
no.
it's done right. So
Very, very respectable, and we
yeah,
totally understand. And we, even as a just putting the business back on as a dealer, that gives us a
Right.
lot to also sell, right? That gives
yeah,
us a story to differentiate your brand from others, and so we appreciate that information.
yeah. No, it's definitely we're a small brand, but I guess we take the best sides from like a bigger OEM, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's like test program, homologation. Of course, our team is from they come from all. I think last time I counted, we were from 22 different nations, and of course, it is people from who's been with all the brands you have more or less, and
Yeah.
all the super hypercar brands out there. So there's definitely a mix between people like me who come from more boutique background, and then other people who's done Bugatti, Mercedes, that sort of those brands as well. So they bring a lot of that thinking to the table, which I think is really really good for us. So yeah,
No, your team is amazing. I mean, I got to know a lot of them during Goodwood
yeah,
and stuff, and their backgrounds. One, they're extremely passionate. I mean, every single person on that team. But just listening to
yeah.
some of their supercar and their automotive pedigrees, it blew me away. Honestly.
It's I've never worked with a team anywhere close to this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's and any iconic car out there the last 10 they've worked on it, right? Someone. So they've been involved in some of the best automotive projects out there, and they're a really good team. I'm really proud of them. It's I consider myself lucky to be able to convince them to come on board, because they have the world at their feet in terms of they could work with any other big OEM and
Right.
probably get paid 2-3 times as much too. But they want to do this because they want to make a difference, and they want to be part of creating something
Bigger.
special, and
Yeah.
let's say make history, I hope. So it feels like it. So, yeah.
Wow. So you got this phenomenal team, this phenomenal Halo car coming out. So that means that this is just the beginning. And I don't know if you can answer this question, but what is next? So if you have a Halo car, typically there's maybe a higher volume, more attainable car coming next, or how's that looking for you?
Yeah, I'm really there's a couple of things I'm not good at. Is I'm a really bad liar, and I'm also horrible at keeping secrets because I get so passionate about things. But we are. As I said, when we started developing the Aurora, we made sure it's a platform for the future, which and it's a modular platform, which will enable us to do a lot of different types of cars. When we started to do the V12, it was really important to also continue with the modularity in that, which means it's a modular V12, which means we could. Nothing is easy, but we can. Yeah, I think you understand. We could with a lot less, let's say, funds and effort, make a V10 and a V8 basically, and a V6 for that matter. But I don't think we'll ever do it. So the next sort of car model that will come underneath the Aurora is I won't tell you the name. I guess I have to keep that a secret. I can
Okay.
whisper it to you at Barwick maybe. But yeah, it's we've started developing a like what we call a junior hypercar, which will sit then at sort of the 1.5 million euro. So I'd say 1.67 million dollar category, and that will be a V10 powered. It's obviously a smaller car, less performance. We're going very much towards then like a lightweight yeah, just a lightweight sports car basically. But still, I would say around. It looks like today that we're gonna hit around 1,000 horsepower, but with really really low weight.
Wow.
But still, yeah, we're working on this now. Yeah, there's no technical data to share yet, but we're really intensifying the project this after this sales season, basically when I'm back in Europe and can really spend some time on it. So that will be higher volume for sure. How high? Again, it depends on what the market will take. So we'll take your feedback, customers' feedback, and sort of to get this sort of balance, so we can have a product that doesn't depreciate basically. But I'm thinking like definitely product runs of let's say up to towards 300 units.
Okay. So I got a few like kind of quick, fun fire questions for you. So
Rapid fire.
So what's a day like? What's a day like for you at Zenvo? Like,
Oh,
it's probably never the same every day, right?
there are like, yeah, but that's probably a good thing. But yeah, so I have so many hats, right? So I'm involved in design, development, engineering meetings, obviously the company related stuff, of course, and I put on some sort of commercial and sales hat every now and then. I'm involved in marketing, yeah. I think I'm a jack of all trades and master of none, as they say. And I don't mind cleaning the toilet if they need cleaning at the factory either. So it's that's not easy to answer. It is a little bit of everything, and I think the side you've seen, of course, I'm out there meeting, media, customers. So that's like let's say that's like 20% of my life, and the rest is, and then there's 20%, R&D, 20%. So my head is always 10 years or more into the future, of course.
Right.
So that's a big part of it, and then yeah, in the dealing with investors and this, there's yeah, I think probably what any normal entrepreneur is going through, who has a company with not so many employees, and everyone needs to wear many hats. I think that's the short answer.
I think Lonnie can probably feel a lot of that pain too,
I
because
think
I
so.
see that for him too. I mean, we're a small team overall, and I mean, we're growing, but we're, small, and he's thinking years ahead, but at the same time, in the thick of everything, day to day,
Yeah.
wearing 5 million hats, going from marketing, service, parts, sales, everything. So I
mean,
know he can
that's what
relate.
it is. And I mean,
Yeah.
okay, let's say you have a car delivery, and the car is, I mean, the car needs cleaning. What do you do?
Yeah.
No one else there. You clean it. You do what you have to do. You're filling in. I don't know who said it. Maybe Muhammad Ali. Be like water. You flow in. Flow wherever water allows you to flow, and fill in all the gaps. I guess that's sort of the. Yeah, I don't know. I have a set of tools that I guess God gave me and some experience gave me, and I'm trying to utilize them all in a way, to whatever gets the job done. There's no like ego thing. There's no,
God, I feel
yeah,
like
whatever gets it done. So that's sometimes I have really nice days where I'm allowed to go surfing and cycling, and yeah, and many days I'm sat, behind a computer, and then there are other days where I'm pushing a car around. Of course, I'll be also very involved in the whole, development, driving of the car. So that's something that will take my time once we start really to get going on, on all that. So make sure, because I have a very good frame of reference, having been in the
right.
hypercar game for such a long time. I've driven everything, and yeah, it's sort of, yeah, I'd say literally everything that our company does, maybe except for accounting and things like that, which is not my favorite thing to deal with.
We have a very common phrase in our world that's there's no such thing as that's not my job. So
No, I mean,
yeah.
it was only a few days ago I heard, we've had, some, some employees say, well, it's not in my contract. And I guess we're all asking, you've met the team, Diane, and we're literally all of them doing stuff that's not in their contracts. So, I mean, I have to say to them, listen, if we have to make you a contract, it'll be thicker than the Bible. If you're gonna list everything that goes into it, so you sort of just have to, you have your main responsibilities, but you do,
But we all have to pitch
whatever
in.
gets the job done. That's it.
I'm listening to me with an accent.
I know, seriously. I'm not joking. I feel like I'm looking at.
That's good. Yeah. No, that's what it is. Because I mean, I have this life motto, and it's also the motto for our engineering and everything. Well, I have a couple, but this is one of them, and it's like, why do we do things in house? Well, if we can do it faster, better, cheaper ourselves, then that's the answer. There's no set principles. It's just what's faster, better, cheaper, and it's the same with everything that needs doing. Sometimes it's just faster, better, cheaper to do it yourself. For me as well, rather than to tell someone to do something. so you can just get on and do it and cross it off the list and move on, right? So I think that's sort of, you do what you have to do.
Understood, especially as an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yes. No, you can go ahead.
Oh, so what was the first car that made you fall in love with driving? And I think you gave us
kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
Well, driving, I guess, that was definitely driving around on the living room floor. I'd say there's a couple of cars. So my first, I remember driving a BMW 323i, which is sort of my first car, which is an E21.
Okay.
It was green, so that was sort of that was a fun car, and I'm big into Alfa Romeos, so I have to say, the Alfa Romeo 105 series, like the 60s Bertone shaped, it really got me into driving. It really taught me how to drive properly, because you have to be sympathetically, make mechanical sympathy, and
Right.
you have to heel toe and balance it, and you can go four-wheel drifting with it. So it really taught me, driving old cars really has taught me how to drive and get the most out of the machinery, for sure. So I'd say a mix between those two. I'd like to say it was the Maserati Bora, but that came came much later. But it sparked interest, and I'd say motorcycles. Although they're not cars, but that's sort of where I started out, and still a massive fan. And it's like, because you're such a part of the machine, and every front to rear balance, the inputs are so much smaller than on a car, so it really, so I could carry that over into cars, because the principles are the same. You're always looking for grip,
Right.
and balance, and all these things. And on a motorcycle, if you don't have it, you're screwed. So it's actually taught me quite a lot of how to drive smoothly. And smooth is fast, and like this seamless way of no sudden movement, no sudden inputs. That definitely came from motorcycles, which I've been riding since I was 14, 13, 12, whatever, right? So it's so that's sort of something in retrospect I've thought, that probably came from riding motorcycles. This really, really, precise inputs and these things, just because it hurts so much when you when you fall off them. So
I bet.
That's funny.
Ask him about the dream road trip.
Okay, so if you were going to go on a dream road trip with somebody, who would it be, dead or alive, and what would you be driving?
Oh.
It's a double whammy.
Yeah. I mean, who would that be? My daughter.
Aww.
Yeah.
And then what would y'all drive?
Because we do have the same taste of music. If I can only choose one, my daughter, for sure. I mean, we would drive the Tour.
Good choice.
And it will barely fit our luggage, but it'll be enough for a couple of weeks.
It's just a road trip, though. It's a short road trip.
We'll pack light, and we'll go on a hot climate where we don't need a lot of clothes. So
Oh my
So,
God.
and I'd say, I'd probably even drive sort of where I live, in on the Iberian Peninsula. Like Spain and Portugal has epic roads, and they're very lightly trafficated. So that would be it.
Very
And we'd
nice.
play really loud music too in between
There you
shots. In
go.
between, yeah.
Listen, it is always so hard to come to an end of
Right.
a conversation like this because I think we could all go for hours probably learning
We should go
about
out
you.
for a beer.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the bottom of it.
But I do have one more question for you to ask you. So, any advice for young engineers or aspiring designers trying to break into this such a niche in the automotive world?
Mm. Don't, yeah, go with the flow, because I've seen this happening with so many, and also a lot of our team members. You met John Gunner, our CTO, who's had a fantastic career doing all sorts of fantastic cars, not only Zenvos, of course, also Koenigsegg, Zinger, Aston, 4GT. Before he's an aero engineer to start with.
Yeah.
So he worked for Airbus, and he's worked in defense. And so, yeah, if he was sort of just set in his ways to only do what he's trained to do, then he wouldn't have done all these epic cars. So I think, and also myself, I've studied music and other things. I just followed my passions and sort of, I guess, went with the flow, and life gave some good opportunities, which I wasn't afraid of jumping on, and never ever followed the money, just followed passion. And I don't know if I'm a good example, but it got me this far. So and it's just 100% passion. I always just even say it's not about even being the smartest. I think passion goes further than being the world's smartest or best, even. So I think I'm probably a good example. So yeah, just be open for opportunities. Don't be stuck in your own head thinking you have to be only mechanical engineer, or if you're a good engineer, you can adapt to anything, or whatever side of the business you're going into. Just go with the flow, make yourself useful. Don't be, I worked for free for for quite a long time. I washed cars for free, and all these things, just to get a foot into the business because I really wanted it. And I think, yeah, I'm sure a lot of the guys at your dealership, started that way too. So don't be entitled. Do whatever needs doing. Don't refuse to clean the toilets, even if you have a degree in like literally. Don't be that guy. Just make yourself useful, and make sure the company cannot live without you. In a way, right? And always have positive attitude and these things. So, because I think that's one thing all of our engineers have in common. They're all, yes, they are super talented, but they all have a really good attitude.
They do.
And they're really positive. And all of them do stuff that's way, beyond their job description. And there's no questions asked. They just like see a gap that needs filling, and they do it. So I think you have to be like that, especially in our little boutique, sort of a small team. We're only 150 people, depending on how you look at it, right? So it's small. So you just have to be super adaptable and flexible and well-rounded. So that would be my suggestion. Don't be square. don't be entitled, and just be humble and keep learning all the time, and make yourself that person that the company cannot live without, or your colleagues cannot live without. I'd say that's the guys we have for sure.
That's such great advice.
Oh yeah, especially such great advice coming from someone like you who's achieved as much as you have. And I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that back, even this small segment right there for my kids. So thank you. For that.
I never planned on a career in automotive. I dreamt about it, but I never planned on it. No,
I don't think any of us have.
No. It's like I think it's just passion works like a magnet somehow, right?
Right.
It's and good people attract good people, and you sort of just standing up, gelling with certain people. And if you, yeah, I don't even know how it happened. Like, because it was never. I think my sister is like completely different than me. For example, she's like she studied finance, economy. She had everything lined up when she was 16 already, I'm sure, and just did everything by the book, and had the path clear. I sort of went with the flow and took big risks, obviously. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
But they paid
there
off
has
though.
well, there has been many months, in not for many years, thank God, but there's definitely months I've been starving. I remember working through financial crisis, and wasn't any salaries. I would sleep in the office. I remember when I started out in the business, I literally would only go home every 3 days or something. I would sleep in my office and eat really crappy food, and yeah, I'd be washing cars all night because we couldn't afford to hire someone. And yeah, so it's like, I don't think it comes without sacrifices. I always get a little bit weird when like a young person comes and offer a job, and it's like and then they come, oh, you have to, oh, you should be paid this and this at least. And they go, yeah, well, I worked for free for years. I don't know, just so you could have a career almost.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe that's a generational thing. Maybe our generation sort of did that. We just like, okay, I'm just gonna wash cars for free until they give me a job.
Right.
Maybe it doesn't happen anymore. I'm not sure, but it probably should, because I think it's very healthy. No matter how well educated you are, to sort of
I
do that
agree.
stuff. Yeah.
I agree. You need to appreciate what you have. And the only way to appreciate it is to kind of start out and rolling your sleeves up and
Right.
understanding what it's like
Yeah.
to sacrifice and work. And
I mean,
yeah,
not that I'm the best example, but I wanted to learn everything about cars. I didn't have an engineering degree, so I learned how to rebuild engines, gearboxes. I restored cars. I knew this wasn't going to be my career. I was just so passionate about cars. I wanted to understand them. And only by picking apart the gearbox, I immediately understood how it was working, right? And picking apart, differentials, etc. And that sort of led me further on to the point where I wanted to know what our technicians were talking about. So when I was working, with the Ferrari dealerships, so I could also do, a service on a Ferrari 360 or a 355 and all that stuff. I did it in 4 times longer than our technicians, but I could still do it, and
Right.
and nobody paid me to do it. I just wanted to learn it, and do it, and I did it on my own cars, always, and I think that's sort of, sure, you do it for free. You have to spend that sort of time. There's sacrifices if you're going to do something that's on the side of corporate. I
right.
think the corporate world probably has a plan laid out for people, but our world just doesn't. And
No.
and there is room for mavericks within the hypercar industry, who sort of is self-taught. And I mean, some of the best engineers I've ever met, is like completely self-taught, and they can
Right.
do mechanical engineer, they can do software, they can do aero calculations, they can probably, design a rocket for SpaceX, whatever. They're just like brilliant, but they might not have an engineering degree. So, and
Right.
there's quite a few of those guys around, and I bet you they started their career swiping floors, at a Chevrolet dealer or something, right?
Mhm.
So that there's room for that too. There's no set ways to do it. Just spend the evenings teaching yourself stuff.
Right.
If whatever, if your parents can't afford to pay college tuition, you can still learn that stuff.
That's
And
right.
I think, in our industry, I think the car industry, I'm sure you also hire people on merits, right? Not necessarily on
Absolutely.
degrees. So
Absolutely. Yes.
there's so many ways to follow your dreams. And yeah, so
Yeah.
Let's make it
yeah,
happen.
Matter of fact,
philosophical at the end.
no, very, very well said
Yeah,
though. And
yeah.
by the way, I don't have a college degree.
Neither do I.
And nor do
No,
any of, yeah.
yeah,
So But we end up where we end up. Some of it is going with the flow, is being ready for opportunities when they were presented, and then being prepared for them too. But it's not. But what you're saying is not completely lost. My stepson is about to have his final year of college, but right now he is doing an internship for a company that he's not getting paid on, but just to learn, those skill sets, right? So not completely lost, but probably not as common to have that grit, that determination, that initiative to do it on your own. It's not as common these days as it was for us growing up.
Yeah.
No,
sure.
I guess it's a different world, I think, this generation has to have a helmet for going outside. I think we did fine without seatbelts and helmets, right? So we're a little bit less risk averse, maybe. So we're sort of, we dare to jump, I think, And this is, the world has become harder and easier in a way. There's like systems for everything now. So maybe they don't have to, I don't know. But but that's this is interesting and it's good. And I think it's easy to feel if you're, for a young person who sort of dreams and if I can't get into whatever this college, my life is screwed. It's not. Right. There's so much information out there.
For sure.
You can literally, if you have the internet and the library, I mean, come on, you can. There's a lot of knowledge to be had. So it's just out there for someone to grab. So and there's always room for talent, if you can prove yourself. So that's
For sure.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, Jens, thank you so much. I know it's probably pushing, 7:00 there where you're at. But I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I know you've got a lot on your plate to get ready for before we see you again soon in Monterey Car Week.
Only a few weeks,
Yes. We can't wait. Yeah. We can't wait.
I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. And now, for the first time, we're going to Car Week, with it's the first time you guys are on board doing Car Week, right? And you're bringing your customers.
Yes.
And last time we did Car Week, we didn't have any dealers, I don't think, or maybe one, right? So,
it's going to be exciting.
We've progressed a lot since that.
And who knows, maybe maybe we'll get lucky and we'll catch a little bit of the Aurora going through the In-N-Out burger maybe at midnight. I don't know.
I mean, I have plans. So,
So everybody stay tuned out there in Monterey. So
definitely a bucket list thing. That's okay, we're there in the development. We made it through the In-N-Out. It's that's a milestone.
The checklist.
Yeah.
So, so for everybody watching that wants to learn more about Zenvo, do you have a website or an Instagram handle to send them to?
Yeah, it's zenvoautomotive.com, and the Instagram handle is the same. And
yes, and they can also go to Zenvo Houston on Instagram.
Zenvo Houston is .com as well.
Zenvo, so if you go to zenvohouston.com, and you can go to Zenvo Houston on Instagram as well. Yeah. But Jens, thank you so much. And let's do this again. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another episode of My Supercar World. Subscribe, follow us, listen, watch on YouTube, however you get your podcast, My Supercar World. Until next time.
See you guys.
My Supercar World is produced by Post Oak Motor Cars, where opulence reigns supreme in the heart of Texas.